They sat in silence for a long time. This was the silence of Thorn. It wasn't the absence of sound, but the presence of peace. Maya knew that this was her legacy, preserving this hole in the digital net, a place where the 21st century couldn't reach. But as the night deepened, Maya felt a familiar shiver. A change was coming. The desert was stirring. The cycle of the yellow apron was about to begin again. Chapter 2. The girl from the east. The bus dropped her off 3 miles from the diner. Sarah Hyatt didn't mind the walk. She had been walking for most of her 23 years, walking away from a life that felt like a cage, walking toward a destiny she could only feel as a tug in her chest. She was the color of the desert. Skin sun-kissed and dusted with the fine red grit of the trail, hair the color of parched straw, and eyes that were a startling electric blue, the exact shade of the Arizona sky at high noon. She carried a tattered guitar case held together with duct tape and a backpack that felt like it was filled with lead. Every step was a struggle. Her boots worn thin, her spirit worn thinner. She had spent her last $40 on the ticket from Virginia, fueled by a name her mother had whispered on her deathbed: Mel's. As the neon sign of the gilded dust came into view, Sarah felt her knees tremble. The sign buzzed a low-frequency hum that seemed to sync with her heartbeat. Seta, seta, seta. Mel's Diner. Seta, seta, seta. Open. She pushed open the door. The smell hit her first, the comforting, greasy embrace of 1,000 breakfasts. It smelled like home, even though she had never been here. She walked to the far end of the counter, choosing the exact stool where, decades earlier, a woman named Alice had once sat. She slumped her shoulders, the weight of the guitar case leaning against her leg. Maya was there in an instant, a damp rag in her hand. She didn't ask for an order. She didn't ask for ID. She simply looked at Sarah's eyes, those blue, searching eyes. "I'm looking for work," Sarah said, her voice cracking. I heard this place takes in people who need a second chance." Maya froze. The rag stopped its rhythmic circling. She looked from Sarah to the framed photograph on the wall, the one of Mel and Alice standing in front of the mountain. The resemblance was more than physical. It was an aura. "What's your name, Hyatt?" Maya asked. The name slipped out instinctively, a memory from a future she hadn't lived yet. The girl's head snapped up. "How did you—" "My name is Sarah, but my mother was a Hyatt. She said the mountains knew our family." Maya felt the air in the diner grow thick with resonance. The ting vong wasn't just a sound. It was a thread, weaving through time, pulling the right people back to the center of the web. "Well, Sarah," Maya said, reaching into a low drawer, "you're just in time for the lunch rush. The coffee is fresh, the grill is hot, and the mountains, well, the mountains have been waiting for you." Sarah took the apron. As her fingers touched the fabric, she felt a jolt of static electricity. The jitters she had felt for 3,000 miles vanished, replaced by a terrifying, beautiful certainty. She was home. Chapter 3. The Anatomy of Resonance. The first week was a blur of grease and gravity. Sarah learned that Mel's Diner didn't operate on clock time. It operated on mountain time. The breakfast rush wasn't a schedule. It was a tide. Truckers would roll in, their eyes red from the long haul across the I-10, looking for the Resonance coffee, a brew Maya made with water piped directly from the hidden spring in the canyons. "Don't think about the orders," Maya instructed Sarah on the third morning. "Don't try to remember who wants sourdough and who wants rye. Listen to the room. The diner will tell you where it needs you." It sounded like hippie nonsense to Sarah at first, but by Friday, she understood. She knew exactly when Jacob's grandson, Leo, was about to burn the bacon before he even smelled the smoke. But it was the evenings that changed her. After the dinner crowd thinned out, Maya would lead the silent treks. Sarah wasn't allowed to lead them yet, but she watched from the porch. 20 people, from all walks of life, walking in a single file line toward the whispering canyons. No phones, no talking, just the sound of boots on gravel. "What do they hear out there?" Sarah asked Maya one night, as they sat together on the back porch, the neon sign buzzing above them. They hear the legacy, Maya said. They hear Alice's music, trapped in the granite. They hear the heartbeat of the Dutchman's mine, which isn't filled with gold, but with the vibration of the earth itself. And if they stay long enough, they hear their own truth. Sarah looked at her guitar case in the corner. I haven't played since I got here. I feel like the mountain is too loud. My music feels small. That's because you're trying to play over the mountain, Maya said kindly. Stop trying to be the lead singer. Try being the instrument. That night, Sarah went down to the basement studio. It was a time capsule. Alice's old recording equipment, reels of magnetic tape, dusty microphones, and handwritten lyrics sat exactly where they had been left. Sarah found a small, locked metal box under a stack of old gilded dust menus. She brought it upstairs, her heart racing. Maya, I found this. Maya's face went pale. She produced a small iron key from a chain around her neck, the key Mel had given her. He said this was for the one who comes after. I thought he meant me, but I'm just the bridge. You're the destination. The box clicked open. Inside was a single, unlabeled master tape. They threaded it through the old Revox reel-to-reel player. The machine groaned, the smell of warm vacuum tubes filling the small room. Then, through the hiss of age, a voice emerged. It was Alice. But it wasn't the polished Alice of the old records. It was raw. She was singing a melody that felt like it was being pulled directly out of the stone. There were no words, just a haunting, minor key resonance that seemed to make the very walls of the diner vibrate. Sarah began to cry. She didn't know why. It was the sound of 1,000 years of loneliness being answered. She was singing to you, Maya whispered. She was leaving a breadcrumb in the dark. Sarah picked up her guitar. For the first time, she didn't think about chords or scales. She simply listened to the tape, and then she let her fingers fall. The two voices, the ghost and the girl, met in the middle of the room, creating a harmony so perfect it felt like it could crack the world open. Chapter 4. The New Vultures. The peace of the diner was shattered on a Tuesday. 3 black Cadillac Escalades pulled into the gravel lot, kicking up a plume of red dust that hung in the air like a threat. Men in tailored linen suits stepped out, their polished shoes looking absurd against the desert floor. They were led by Marcus Thorne, no relation to Maya, though he liked to use the name to gain entry. He was the CEO of Aether Records, a man who had made billions by turning authentic experiences into subscription-based content. He walked into the diner, ignoring the no devices sign, and tapped a rhythm on the Formica counter with a gold-plated stylus. Maya, he said, his smile as bright and cold as a LED screen. The data doesn't lie. The echo is trending. Silent Treks is the most searched term in the travel sector. We want to scale this. Maya didn't look up from the coffee she was pouring. The silence doesn't scale, Marcus. It only exists here. Everything scales, Marcus countered. We want to install high-fidelity sensors in the canyons. We'll capture the resonance, clean up the noise, and sell it as a premium meditation app. We'll call it the Thorn Frequency. You'll be a billionaire. This girl. He gestured towards Sarah, who was standing by the grill, her hand tightening on her spatula. She's the face, the diner girl who found the lost song. It's the perfect narrative. Sarah felt a surge of cold fury. She looked at the yellow apron she was wearing. She thought of the tape she had heard the night before, the raw, aching soul of Alice. These men wanted to strip mine the spirit of the mountain, just like the prospectors had tried to strip mine the gold. The noise is the point, Sarah said, stepping forward. Marcus blinked, his smile faltering. The sound of the wind, the sizzle of the grill, the way the granite echoes when a storm is coming. You can't clean it up. If you take it out of this canyon, it's just a recording. It's dead. We're talking about global reach, sweetheart, Marcus said, his tone patronizing. Don't you want the world to hear you? I want the world to listen, Sarah replied. There's a difference. Maya smiled, a small, dangerous movement of her lips. I think you've had your coffee, Marcus. It was $3. Leave it on the counter. As the Escalade sped away, Maya looked at Sarah. The girl was shaking, but her eyes were like blue fire. "The gilded cage is always more tempting than the gilded dust," Maya said. "Let them come," Sarah said. She felt the mountain behind her, a massive, silent ally. The mountains aren't just watching anymore, they're getting ready to sing. Chapter 5. The Night of the Red Moon. The confrontation with Marcus had awakened something in the range. The air felt charged, the atmosphere heavy with the scent of ozone. Maya's health had started to decline. She didn't complain, but Sarah noticed the way she leaned more heavily on the counter, the way her breath hitched when the wind blew from the north.